And we start with breaking news. If there is any question that President Biden is a wartime president, tonight answers that question. It is 3 a.m. in Yemen, 7 p.m. here in Washington, and U.S. airstrikes against the Houthi rebels have begun along the coast here of the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea. Against the Houthi rebels in Yemen, they are controlled and supplied, of course, by Iran. For the past couple of months, the Houthis have been taking pot shots not only at U.S. Navy ships, but also at commercial shipping through the Red Sea. 10% of the world commerce goes through the Red Sea. The Houthis had stopped that. They'd used these ships and the Navy ships as target practice. The Navy had taken it on the chin, never fought back. Tonight, that changes. The way this is going to go, we don't know how many waves of attacks there will be. There's a few U.S. Navy ships here, not only in the Red Sea, but also in the Gulf of Aden. They have Tomahawk cruise missiles. And then there is going to be the air component from not only U.S. bases, we'll put up U.S. and U.K. bases since this is a joint operation, U.S. bases in Iraq, and then obviously down here in Saudi Arabia and in Qatar for places to launch those attacks from. This is some of the video from the U.S. ships as they were both under attack and sending off the interceptors to try and blow up the Houthi drones and missiles that had been launched at them. So far, no U.S. sailors have been killed, and obviously there was a fear by the United States that that might happen. At some point, Iran and the Houthis were going to get lucky. The issue here is it too little, too late? You think about Iran, they've been allowed to embarrass the United States now for at least a couple of months with 130 attacks against U.S. bases and U.S. ships. This is the first real meaningful response. How big it goes, we don't know. The fact that the United Kingdom is involved is pretty significant. We had been hearing rumblings out of London that the Brits were even pressuring the United States to do more because of so much of the shipping that comes through the Red Sea goes to the United Kingdom. They were tired of this and the increased costs that had come, and they were tired of being embarrassed by the Iranians and by the Houthis. Houthi command and control is in Sana'a, which is the capital of Yemen. Yemen's pretty much a failed state now. So you're going to have a few waves of attacks, and we see how this goes, right? First, you take out Houthi air defenses, which are supplied by Iran, so that means Russian-made air defenses that can endanger U.S. planes. First, you take out the air defenses, then you start taking out command and control, and then you start taking out the weapons depots. That is going to be the first three phases of this attack overnight right now in Yemen. Whether you see a day 2, day 3, day 4 is yet to be seen. The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is in the Middle East right now. And the continued attacks by the Houthis was really embarrassing the administration. And that's been the real issue here, is how long was Iran going to continue to embarrass the United States? We've heard for so long from this administration, their whole plan was to not escalate, not escalate, not escalate. And it seems now the Houthis have forced the United States into escalating. Glenn Ignazio, former U.S. Air Force Special Operations pilot, commander, and major, is with us now. Typically 3 waves, right, Glenn? You take out the air defenses, command and control, and then you start going after the launch sites and the weapons storage facilities for the Houthis.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. They're actually very close together. So it's not, waiting time. You're really trying to go in as a strike package. You've had plenty of time to do the intelligence to build these strike packages. And then you put the right assets to be able to jam, destroy, and then be able to strike those particular areas.
We're looking at it in terms of, this was video that we first saw from the Houthis of them taking over a ship. This was the first one of their real attacks. It showed fairly sophisticated operations by the Houthis, flying in on a helicopter, landing on a ship, taking it over. Or is this sort of a ragtag rebel organization? How much help has Iran given them and turned them into a real fighting force?
Yeah, I mean, the impression that a lot of people have is that they're ragtag, but in all honesty, they haven't. They've had a lot of time to be able to practice and refine their operations. In fact, some of the technology that's come from Iran, they've actually improved and extended ranges. So they've gone from sort of this rebel group to actually a pretty organized and formidable type of foe. And
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.